Cool. Hey, y'all. Daniel Robinson just subscribed, so thanks for the sub. And hello. Yeah, it's me, Elinore. And I am going to continue painting this Bayou Starter model, which is the fourth one we're painting and the last one. And it's called Fluffernutter. And you just can't say that word with a straight face. Sorry, the name. It's just, yeah, well, it's fitting, I guess. Hi, Chris. How are you doing? Currently, it looks a little bit like a child's painting because I was just slapping on base coats end of last stream. But it'll improve, I promise. I thought we'd highlight the saddle a bit because no, I do not know what a fluffernutter is. Please enlighten me. But I thought we'd highlight the saddle because I really want to paint the skin. As I mentioned earlier, I really like to paint the skin early in the process and then sort of balance the rest of the paint job around that. And the saddle is a bit hard to reach, so I kind of want to highlight that first, and then we'll go into the skin. Fluffernutter is a peanut butter and marshmallow fluff sandwich. Okay, well that, yeah, I can sort of see that as a good name for a rabid looking bunny. I mean, marshmallows are fluffy white. This doesn't sound like my kind of sandwich, but hey, sure. Oh, actually, I was wondering about this. Maybe you have an answer. This is so random, but like a frozen yogurt stuff, there's something called Euro tart. I could not find what Euro tart was. Because I know what the tart flavor, it's sort of just adding honey, right? But Euro tart, I couldn't get that. Anyway, that's apparently what we're talking about right now. Well, we're gonna try and highlight that saddle. Oh, my Gen Con stuff came in today. No clue. Okay. Well, so I got my Gen Con stuff today. Or me and my friend, a couple of friends, made an order together. And that was really cool to have that. So I got the other side starter box and the Hamlin Nelly box and another mishappen for myself to paint. And the Malifaux Burns book. So right now I'm like, do I finish the Resurrectionist faction book, which I am currently reading? Just started reading. Or do I just jump onto Malifaux Burns? Because new shiny? It's a tough question. Oh, that should probably... No, I think I'm good. Okay. Well, the quest for trying to learn what a Eurotart is continues. We watched this weird show called, I think it's Joey for You or something. So that's where the question came from. So Chris, are you painting anything right now? I know Kim, who we got here helping me out with the stream technical stuff, is painting the Rotten Harvest Zoraida stuff. Lots of pumpkins and toads and stuff. Just really sweet. So I painted the saddle with, what's it called? Dried bark from Citadel. And then I washed all of the saddle and luggage bits with dark brown wash called Agrax Earthshade. It's a popular one to create some quick shadows. Tiago Rosado has liked the stream. Thanks, Tiago. How are you doing, Tiago? So I'm now highlighting this by mixing in steelage and drab into the dried bark. Just layering it on. Chris, trying to finish my Ma Tucket crew. Oh, Ma is so cool. Like, if I played Bayou, which I do not, I would definitely be interested in Ma. So cool. So yeah, the bunny looks like a total mess right now, but we'll get to that, I promise. We're in this chrysalis of misery right now, which is something. Who was it who spoke about that? Was it Ben or Ashenhold? Or was it Doug? Anyway, like sort of a stage where everything just looks like shit. That's my understanding of it, at least. Ben spread it to Doug and the rest of us. Okay, yeah. We're in the chrysalis of misery. I don't think we need to highlight the saddle anymore. So think now. I guess we could highlight this thingy. We also need to decide what color to paint the ropes in. I'm thinking probably quite light, bright, I should say. Yeah, let's do that now. So I'm gonna use some Ushabti bone to pick out all these segments and the ropes. So Chris, are you excited for the Ma Tucket title in her awesome, probably Arcanist funded, sort of, well, funded Doom machine, whatever you should call it. Sort of a mech arachnid, right? So I didn't get time to look at my Gen Con stuff too much since I've got a lot of work stuff to do, but really liking the look of the other side miniatures. And I noticed that Well, I really like the Untitled miniatures I got too. I also noticed that Jackdaw has this sweet little like ritual circle base insert. It's pretty cool. That Nelly miniature is amazing. Meg Tucket for the win. That's a good name to describe her, yeah. Meg Tucket. So just picking out these segments on the ropes with Citadel Ushabti Bone and oops. Don't really need to do much else to the ropes to get them to look good. I will say Kirai has a bit of a giraffe neck going on in the other side box, but other than that, I think the miniatures are brilliant. Kiryo is so imposing. And the size of Sonia's Blast template, that just puts a smile on my face. I could almost see Meg Tucket in, like, maybe not story-wise, but like concept and looks. Like, I could almost see her in the other side. So last time I finished Mishappen and Stumpy, the Wallgeist, and then I started painting on this mini because I didn't think we'd get that far, but I had not mounted this one on the cork yet, and so I was holding the miniature while painting the miniature, which was a little chaotic, and there like I got paint everywhere. I also then realized that I had not pinned the miniature, which I wanted to do because of the whole water effect stuff I'm gonna do. So like being ahead of schedule last time made it a bit chaotic because I was scrambling to start this one. But like I'm not used to being ahead of schedule, you know. But happens. So much rope. I just sent in like my info to claim the Malifaux Burns PDF too, which is handy. It's a nice service. Though I do tend to prefer reading a book. It can be nice to have the PDF. So are you scrambling to finish your Tucket crew for a tournament or just painting an nice time frame or whatever you should say? There's a lot of rope on this model. Sorry about that. I'm just poking the ropes with the tip of the brush. Trying to pick all of these segments out. It can seem a little time consuming, and I guess it is, but I don't really feel like you need to highlight them further. But you certainly could if you wanted to make some spots stand out a little bit more. Chris, I have the Rotten Harvester right and I want to finish mom before I start. Ah, nice. It's a very grown-up thing to do, starting the new shinies only after you finished what you started before. Not everyone has that kind of willpower. I definitely lack that willpower. Oh, okay. Well, different ways to see it, to view that. Like, what Chris is doing is great, but if you're struggling to paint, I tend to see it like just go wherever your inspiration gets you. And then we try and see all the unpainted miniatures as a pile of possibilities and not a pile of shames. That's how I do it anyway. Very weird. That's how I end up working on the Rotten Harvest box. Yeah. Well, you got to get the Rotten Harvest ready for Halloween, right? I love Halloween, by the way, and you will see me dress up a bit for Halloween. Don't worry. Or worry. I don't know. Chris, my issue is that by new shinies that I never paint. Well, I think that's a very common issue with miniature gamers. Look, it's very conscious of my hair. Did we get all the rope? Maybe. Probably not. Tend to always miss something. Oh, and thanks, Kim. It's a little weird painting in front of a camera. Sometimes you can get very self-conscious. My hair can be a little bit unruly. I actually kind of learned something about myself recently. And I thought it was like this for everyone, but when I try to visualize something in my head, I can't. Like, I don't get an image. If I try and think of what someone looks like, what a certain place looks like, what an object or animal looks like, it's just stark. I get no images. So I seem to be like mind blind, which is a bit weird when you're so focused on like visually creative stuff. I do a few illustrations now and then too. So, but yeah, I don't have any. I don't have a visual memory. It's a little bit weird, but seems like I'm not alone. It's a little got a little sidetracked there, but just something interesting. How people remember things in very different ways. Cool. So, Gremlin Skin. We painted it with a mix of wall flesh and Auric flesh from Citadel. And now we're gonna build up some highlights by having less and less wall flesh, the darker green, mixed into the Auric flesh. I'm gonna try and pick out the jockey's muscles, leaving like lines between them to define them. And then we are going to, with a brighter and brighter green, do thinner and thinner lines, like highlights. Just always showing a little bit of the step we did before. And I find you can paint gremlins any green or any color you want, actually. Other than blue, don't paint them blue. I hate Smurfs. Smurfs are, ugh. They scare me. Don't paint them gremlins blue, please. But this Auric flesh into, no, wall flesh into Auric flesh, I think it gives a pretty nice, like yellowish green with like the shadows are colder, and the more you get into the highlights, they get a little bit warmer. And you get into the kind of almost olive green territory, but yeah, kind of like it. There are a lot of different ways to paint green skin. Orange with blue polka dots. Sure. That's fine with me. You can, of course, paint your gremlins green, but if you do that, I'm going to be scared. Blue. I mean, I'm not going to be scared of green gremlins. Orange gremlins. That's pretty cool. Hey, maybe I've seen your, did you post orange gremlins on a Wyrd place? Maybe I've seen those. Rings a bell. Then again, as I said, don't really have a visual memory, but I remember seeing cool orange gremlins. Thanks for the like, Adam. Chris, now I was just thinking of an off-the-wall combo. Okay. Yeah, I think, because I'm pretty sure I've seen orange gremlins, though. Sending out the mishappen to the Lucky Duck Daniel Tingson tomorrow. And when we're done painting the Gremlin, the Bayou Starter box, we'll raffle that out too. I hope to be done with this one today. Might not, but I might not be 100% done. And then I need to do the base too with the water effects, but in the near future, we'll do a Gremlin Starter raffle here on the channel, which is going to be fun because I really like raffling stuff away. It's fun. It's exciting. And if we can make some people happy, put a smile on their face, that's great, right? Just trying to build up these greens. Soon gonna mix in some more orc flesh into the mix we got. So mixing a little bit more orc flesh into our green mix and painting it on, trying to leave some of the previous mix showing, and trying to bear in mind that light is coming from above, unless we have some other light source in mind. So we're focusing on areas that we can see from a bird's eye view. Of the model. It's a good tip, actually. Just look at it from a bird's eye view at times. And we focus a lot of different paints when we paint miniatures, but values are, I'd say, equally important. If you need any help with your values, that is contrast, light to dark, a trick you can use is to take a picture of your miniature with your smartphone and then just remove all of the saturation. Drag the saturation down to 0. You can do that in phone. Smartphones have like built-in photo editing tools, like the gallery app tends to have them. So just draw the saturation down to 0 or add a black and white filter or something. And then you can see how well you've done with the values, if you need to improve anything. Because usually we want a miniature to be like, we want something to read as white and we want something to read as pure black. And then we want a lot of grays in between that. And usually we don't want every area of the miniature to be to have like the same brightness. We don't want the pink bunny or white bunny or gray bunny to be the same brightness as the Gremlin Skin, probably, for example. We want some areas to be dark and some areas to be brighter, because that adds to the interest of the model. If everything is just the same brightness, it gets pretty boring to look at. But we can get a bit blind to values when we see color. So removing color from a photo can make you see how bright your values are, or how much contrast you got. For example, if we got some, if this skin is a pretty light green, which we're kind of aiming for, we might want the trousers and maybe the hat to be a little bit darker. If everything is the same brightness, the miniature risks looking a bit drab and boring. But if you're using a black and white filter, instead of pulling the saturation down, be aware that some black and white filters alter the look of the mini. Like, they're made to look, to make photos look great for Instagram and such. So that might not give you a realistic representation of your miniature. So keep that in mind. This is not something you have to do, but it's fun, and it can possibly be a bit of an eye-opener. that could perhaps help you improve your painting. Some of us have a better knack for values than others, probably. So some might not need to do this. For others, it can be a very good tool. I don't exactly do it for every miniature, but I can do it now and then. And it can be cool to go back to miniatures you've finished. You don't have to feel like you need to improve them further, but you can just go back and analyze them and be like, okay, did I do enough contrast in this miniature? Do I have enough variation in the dark to light spectrum? Obviously, you might want to do it different on different miniatures. Some miniature you want to look pretty dark and moody. And I'm not saying you shouldn't paint those dark. I'm saying have something that is bright. It's totally fine, like if you want to do like a dark, moody, scary Seamus model, paint him with dark colors, but have something bright too, like his skin maybe, to contrast it. And often we can create visual interest by making the very bright areas be right beside the very dark ones. So if we're painting, let's say Seamus or this Gremlin who also has a hat, we could do a very light skin and then a very dark hat. I could have very pasty pale Seamus, for example, and that contrast will help draw the viewer in. So this is something I've been trying to think about more and more. I think sometimes I manage better than other times. It's a very obvious thing to say, but it's something I've been trying to bear in mind. I'll keep that in mind while painting this miniature. No, we don't have a lot of viewers right now, so they might be arriving late and maybe missing this little nugget of wisdom, but hey, it's gonna be on YouTube too. Definition of this foot is a little, like the left foot, it's a little trickier to paint. I think we'll grab some pure wall flesh to paint little lines to define toes. I didn't go too well. This brush has maybe started to lose its sharp tip a little bit. Grabbing some orc. No, I say it wrong. Some wolf flesh. That's the darker one. Wolf flesh is the dark one. Orc flesh is the light one. I'm trying to define the eyebrows a little bit. I seem to be a little shaky on the hand today. Not quite sure why, but we should be able to manage. Tend to have a very steady hand, but some days it's not as steady. This cute little hand. Forgot to paint highlights on the inside of the foot here. Okay, so we're now gonna add some Citadel Ogren Camo to the palette, which is a greenish yellow, I would say. Almost bone, but it's got some green and yellow in it. And I think it's a pretty good highlighting color for when you want this yellowish green Gremlin Skin. And it contrasts really well with the colder shadows of the skin. So we're trying to do this in pretty thin lines. Didn't actually mix this into the orc flesh. I just went with Ogren Camo. Which is another Citadel paint, if I didn't mention that. The gremlin toes. Top of the shin. Let's go to the face and highlight the brows. And the tip of where a human's nose would be. What happens when a gremlin has a cold? Gotta be miserable not having a nose, right? Something you can do is to have brighter highlights in the face than any other part of the model, because that tends to draw like the eye in more, so you can make the face pop even more. It helps you draw the eye to the face. Doing little dotted highlights on the lower lip. I feel I neglected this gremlin's forehead a little bit, so I'm gonna highlight that with a little bit of the old mix. Nose bulges and is very red. Oh, yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Poor little gremlins. They cannot sneeze. I tend to sneeze quite a lot, which is a little rough in the COVID pandemic because it makes people uncomfortable, and then I'm uncomfortable, and kind of sucks. Sorry, smacked the camera there. Just needed some more liquid motivation. And no, that's not brewy stuff. I am drinking Pepsi Max Mango, which sounds like it would be horrible. Sounds like a horrendous drink, but it's strangely good. And my girlfriend thought it sounded disgusting, but then she tried it and I was like, this is pretty good. But it's also a little weird. I once actually tasted curry ice cream. I think it was like a gimmick flavor to like be a little quirky for that gelato bar. Do you see gelato bar? I don't know. But that was the taste of confusion. It was not good, it was not bad, it was just confusing. Drop the model there. I can be a little clumsy, but that's fine. Usually. Chris, have you ever had Cactus Cooler? It's an orange pineapple soda. No, I have not, but I have had a cactus lemonade, and that was really good. So a Swedish brand who did a cactus lemonade. But orange pineapple soda sounds good. Play Wyrd accidentally backhanded the solarium I was building and set the dry fitted parts flying. Yeah. It's kind of nice somehow to hear that I'm not the only clumsy one. Like this weekend, I was playing around with one of my sisters. She's got a dog, a Berner Center, which is a huge dog, and he toppled me over, and I was stupid having my cell phone in my back pocket, and it broke. And today I burnt myself a little bit on a pizza, so I feel like I just get clumsier and clumsier as I get older, which is worrying. I hope you find all the parts, Kim, to the solarium. The solarium is a good looking model. Okay, so I think now we'll add a little bit of white into the Ogren camo, the Shrek camo paint. You're confident you will. That's nice to hear. And with this little white-ish paint we created, let's do tiny, tiny highlights in the middle of the last Ogren camo highlight. This will make the gremlin look a little shiny, which is fitting in my opinion, because it's living in the bayou, which can be quite humid. Shocker. Nose bulge. Brows. Cheekbones. And chin. Futuramaniac. What's going on here? Well, what's going on is we are painting a gremlin from the Malifaux Bayou Starter box. Yeah, I got it. Oh, Futurama Maniac. Cool. Yeah. It's a good show, which I've seen too little of. So we are finishing up the skin. How are you doing, Futurama Maniac? Futurama Maniac, sorry. Butchering all the nicknames. Whoop, whoop. Anyone getting any games in, or is it mostly painting for you? Painting at the moment too, and this is the only Minis painting channel I follow. Well, I'm glad you're following this channel because it's a painting channel that I am on. So I'm glad you're here. What are you painting? Not your Malifaux Minis. Okay. Well, that's fine. We're glad you're here anyway. I got other Minis too. Massive Darkness, Overseer. I've painted a whole bunch of Massive Darkness stuff, but not the Overseer. Do not know which model that is. Oh, got a hair following me around. Is it like an official Wyrd channel? It is, yeah. This is the official Wyrd channel. So we're a team of streamers. How many are we, Kim? 8? I'm not great at numbers. Seven streamers. Yeah. We tend to get more viewers than this. I don't know. Maybe people are just doing different stuff today. Tends to be more. There are people watching on YouTube too, though, so they don't show up. No, yeah, I meant how many streamers there are. I was wondering that too. Well, it's really new, so that factors into it. And I guess a lot of Wyrd players are American, so they're at work right now. So there are a lot of Europeans too. So tell your friends, I guess. Make them come hang out. Actually raffle out miniatures too that we're painting. So yeah, it's cool. Painted Mishappen from that Gen Con Limited and raffle it out to a lucky duck. I'm sending it in the mail tomorrow. And this Bayou box is going to be raffled out too. Spreading the link a little bit more. Future Maniac, do you guys also discuss lore? We could, if you want. Any lore you want to talk about? I have not read the Malifaux Burns book yet. I just got it in the mail. I read all the second edition book lore, but not all of the third edition lore yet. Oh yeah, and what faction do you like the most? That's Kim. Personally, I'm really into Explorer Society right now. Yeah, I'd avoid Malifaux Burn spoilers, sure. I'm really into Explorers right now, but I've always loved the lore of the Resurrectionists and the Neverborn, though I collected Arcanists the most, to be honest. Remember Ramos? Yeah, I remember Ramos. Got all the Arcanist Masters. Just never got around to painting Hoffman, but someday. Ramos was fun. It would be really cool if Ramos ended up in the other side, since he's in a prison in Vienna. Like a another syndicate. Since the addition of From Nightmares has started dwelling into Neverborn, I love the Akima Lilith Titania story. Yeah, I'm kind of Team Lilith. Bugger off, Nekima. That's just purely because I really liked playing Lilith, though. I played a bunch of Neverborn in second edition. What is Malifaux Burns? Yeah, Bridgeside Broadcast is a good one. Malifaux Burns is the latest expansion book, which has story and rules for all of the Malifaux titles. It had a lag, yeah, but I think it's better now. A lag. You've been looking into the upcoming titles? Or is Malifaux Burns entirely new to you? Oh, I got something in my eye. Let's paint the eyes. I'm gonna paint them in Wild Rider Red. to start off at least. Then a tiny highlight of Fire Dragon Bright. They're both colors from Citadel. Just trying to put a tiny dot there. Orange. Then maybe a little bit of yellow. And a tiny brush. Try and dot some yellow into the eye there. Trouble with having a tiny brush is that the paint dries very quickly. Looks pretty good. I'm back, baby. Oh, I'm glad you are. Oh, this paint is thick. We're grabbing some Screamer Pink. This is from Citadel, and we're painting it into the mouth, which makes it look very, 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 very pink. But that is fine. We're also shading the pink areas of the ears with some of this. This looks pretty rough. But it's going to look better later. We're just blocking in some of this dark pink paint. Nythera happened after the Burning Man's first appearance. I actually didn't know that. I thought it was the... No, but that kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Because we got the other side game, and after that, we had the Nythera campaign right after or something. I don't really remember, but it kind of makes sense in my head. Sounds like a good through the Reshome brew. Some civil war going on there. Are you Team Lilith? Please say you're Team Lilith. I will say that Titania is very cool. You're Timmy. Oh, that's nasty. That's nasty. You don't like Nekima. I gather that much. Nekima is pretty cool, though. I mean, she's the one who threw the corpse into Earth when the breach closed again, with the words "ours." Let's say she drew the words "ours" on the corpse. It's pretty cool. You gotta give her that. She's no nonsense. She's our "ours" gal. Yeah, actually, I think she's our Nikki Mama is what I tend to call her now, because of our title. There we got the pink paint, which is pretty confusing. We got the pink paint Emperor's Children, which only makes sense if you're into Warhammer 30k or 40k. But yeah, so, bubblegum pink. And we're mixing that with the Screamer pink, which doesn't need, make a lot of sense either. Oh, like a mystery if yeah, I get you there. Like having to fill in the blanks yourself can be cool too. But we got to do that for quite a while. Guess it was a little cool to know who did it, but yeah, I get you. You got a fair point there. The young gods? What are the young gods? We only kind of recently got to know where the ocean in Malifaux is, right? Or was that something we knew earlier from the Through the Breach books? Because I only saw it, like, you could probably, I only saw it first in the Explorer's book, but you could probably reason that it would be outside of the Bayou. But, like, that was the first map I saw with the ocean in the Explorer's book. Oh, okay. I don't remember the young gods, old gods thing. You got a good memory. Painting Fluffernutters, cute little. Okay, I don't know what it's called in English. Let's say we're painting Fluffernutters, cute little toes. Making like tiny little oval highlights with this bubblegum pink in the inside of the ears. What's your favorite Malifaux story? Future Maniac? Flavor says the Through the Breach second edition book has the best timeline info, honestly. Okay, cool. I don't own that book. Maybe I should get it. I haven't played Through the Breach, actually. You have two favorite stories. Which ones are they? Let's also paint this Gremlin's. Actually, you can't really see his tongue, right? Can you? Let's pretend that's his tongue. Maybe it's supposed to be teeth. Let's paint teeth. Some Ushabti bone. Nice toothy shark smile. Looks a bit scary, this dude. From Breachside Broadcast, episode 44, orphans that are being visited by a doctor that tries to turn them into arcanists. Oh, see, there are a lot of, that's a Chronicle story, right? I have not read all of the Chronicles ones. I read all the book stories through Malifaux first and second edition. But not all of the Chronicles. Episode 50, Inventor wants to create a phone line between Earthside and Breachside and goes to the Honeypot for inspiration. That's a very good one. That's a very good one. I like it a lot. I really like the one with Iggy. Like Iggy's origins, sort of. Which also features Pandora. That's a very good one too, I think. It's got some lovely teeth, this Fluffernutter. Oh, a bit scary. Anything with McMorning is also just hilarious, in my opinion. Highlighting the teeth with some pure white to make him pop. It's a very drooly tongue you got there, Fluffernutter. Help me, there's something with me. It's so hungry. That just sent shivers down my spine. Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. All Hunger and Darkness stuff is... it's creepy to say the least. I also like the one where Nightmare messes with Pandora's head. It's so deserved. Like, someone else messes with her head. That's pretty cool. Painting a dark brown line, like top of the upper front teeth. Guess we'll fill in the eyes. We want it to look proper crazy, right? Like glazy eyes. That looks pretty cool. What do we paint next? Maybe the jugs. Smee's got some great jugs. Sorry. Bad joke. Hello. Sorry, just said hello to my friend. So we painted these jugs Zandri Dust from Citadel, and then we gave them a wash of Agrax Earthshade. And now we are, it was a pretty heavy wash, so I'm now just kind of highlighting them with pure Zandri Dust again. Made you snort. Like, that's something, right? It's not a laugh, but it's a snort. A snort of approval or disapproval or just, yeah, something. Oh, I did miss a little bit of rope there, of course. I knew I'd miss some rope. And then I'm going to, oh, this looks like a, kind of looks like a crack almost in the jug. That's a bit of a happy accident. We'll work with that. But we're gonna mix some Ushepti bone into this to highlight it further later. working with this little happy accident to make it look as though the clay is cracking. Looks pretty good. Now, recently I painted Ultimate Carries. Actually got the tray without the head, and Wyrd sent me a replacement right away. Yeah, okay, glad you got a replacement. They tend to be pretty quick about that kind of stuff. We don't want a headless carries now, do we? Right, that's rope. Keep missing rope. Alt carries, is that the one she's like standing, like kneeling and shooting a fireball, right? It's pretty cool. I got the very old carries. The first edition one. Kneeling and fireball. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to reading about Carys and Malifaux Burns. She was already pretty unhinged almost. So, see what happens there. Shit, it's the fan. So I added a little bit of Ushabti bone to the mix. And now I think I'm gonna highlight it with pure Ushabti bone. Shoot remind me, so Elinore, what do you do considering Wyrd just painting? Considering Wyrd, like I play a lot of Malifaux. Is that what you mean? And I'm eager to try the other side again, because I think it's a pretty brilliant game system. But yeah, I play a lot of Malifaux. I've been playing it for 10 years. Something like that. Just a long time when you think about it. Work for them. No, I just do streaming. We're a team of 7 streamers. She's really fun. Indeed. Indeed. Very tricksy. Highlighting along the edges of the jugs. This team has a lot of moonshine. I missed part of the jug here. Let's try and put some sandwich dust there. Ugh. Can we reach it? Yes, we can. Making you want to paint all your rotten harvest. In what way am I manipulating you to want to paint the rotten harvest stuff? In which way is it my fault? I'm looking forward to seeing more of that stuff painted by you. It's looking good so far, Kim. Certainly is. By being awesome and painting well, it's inspired me. Aww. I'm glad it has. Thank you. So, doing a few sharp highlights to suggest that the clay is a little shiny. And we're highlighting the upper edges of these or lower edges, depending on how you see it, these cracked areas. Boop, boop, boop. Missed some more rope. That's kind of the mantra of painting this miniature. So much rope. Got all this stuff tightly secured, I guess. Maybe paint the handle in sandwich dust too. Guess we'll do that. I forgot to paint the thumb there. Got some of the thumb showing there. We do a lot of brush liking in this channel. Even got sort of nicknamed the Brush Lickers, which is a lovely nickname, isn't it? So those are the jugs painted. Let's do the blanket or the bedroll, which I painted Citadel Castellan green. And then we gave it a heavy wash of, I keep forgetting, Agrax Earthshade, yeah. It's that very popular shade by Citadel. Wash, that is. They call their washes shades. And I'm re-highlighting it now with Castellan green. Because a heavy wash dulls down the paint and it darkens it, so we can highlight it with the base color again. Who is the user named Play Wyrd? Usually it's Kimberly, doing a very good job dealing with the technical stuff of the stream and engaging with me and you other people in the chat. Sometimes it is someone else, though. Could be Kyle, but usually it's Kim. So let's mix the Castellan green with a little bit of your Shabty bone. I tend to often mix off-whites into my paint when I want to highlight. Instead of just mixing pure white. Sitkin? Kitty? I'm working. Yeah? Kitty thinks I'm boring or she wants more food. Yet again. I do feed her, don't worry. Yeah? Well, today it is the lovely Kim. So we're trying to look for the sculpted folds and highlighting that with our mix of Castellan green and Ushabti bone. I almost say bleached bone because that's what it was called when I first started painting miniatures like 20 plus years ago. I have not been painting miniatures constantly for 20 years, but I think I painted the first ones maybe 21 years ago or something. Now I feel old. How long have you been painting miniatures? Or actually, anyone in the chat is allowed to answer. I think we got a bunch of lurkers here. Lurking is fine too, though. You do not have to chat. Just watching is totally fine. Five years, cool. It's a solid amount of time. So we're doing a very swampy green here, not unlike the faction color, actually. I'm a bit obsessed with colors, or at least I used to be. Like when I was a kid, everyone was supposed to celebrate some sports team. And they asked me, which ones do you root for or cheer for, support, whatever? And like, I had no idea. I just said one that had the color yellow. That's one of their colors. because I loved yellow. I didn't know if they meant hockey or football or whatever. Futuromaniac. I started painting Steampunk World War I Germans, never finished them. Then I bought the Ramos crew, never finished it. Before I bought Leviticus crew, never finished it. And then I bought some board games, never finished a single one. Aww. Look, buddy. They don't have that many models. If you just set like a little painting schedule, you'll be able to finish them. Like, write down little goals. What do you want to have done this evening? And then try and follow them. Like, I'm not trying to shame you here or anything, but I think there are some useful tips to try and get stuff done. There are like 400 of them. I have a lot of unfinished models too. So weird. I actually want crew fully painted, but it's a beautiful crew then. It's a dreamer crew, right? It's beautiful. I have a bunch. I don't know how many. It's difficult to know when you've finished a crew because I don't always paint every model in a crew box because like sometimes I don't use all three of a type of minion and stuff, so I don't know when a crew is finished painting, so to speak. But like I would want to paint all of the miniatures, paint all the minis, but I tend to prioritize ones I'm going to play with, and therefore like I don't have 3 drowned painted, for example. I only got one. Wouldn't mind having a second one painted, but I don't see myself having 3 drowned on the board, for instance. So I just tend to prioritize something else. Since as many miniature gamers are wont to do, I do tend to buy a lot of new minis all the time. I might get around to painting those last drowned models sometime. We'll see. They're lovely models. Hi, Ashenhold. Nice to see you here. Shopping is part of the hobby. Yeah, it is. Guess in a way you can say that it could be therapy shopping, but it's also like that's not very fair. Collecting is a big part of the hobby. Sure, sometimes we just like to buy stuff, but a lot of humans are collectors. We like to collect things. Like I got the idea in my head that I wanted all of the Arcanist Masters. I don't feel like I need to have every miniature for a faction, but I decided I wanted all the Arcanist Masters. And then that for the other factions I play, I didn't need to have all of the masters for those. It's just a goal I set up for myself. So we mixed increasing amounts of Ushapti bone into this bedroll to paint it, and you see it's a very pale green, almost gray. Looks pretty good. Next, maybe we'll paint the trousers, the jeans. Ash and Hole, dinner time going to lark. That's totally fine. Thanks for the larking. I hope the dinner tastes good. Future Maniac. I guess the basic grammar school is finished, but then I bought extra Arachnid's Electrical Creation, Red Willem, the lawyer's name I forgot. I think that's Amina Naidu. Willie All Seamstress Caris. Yeah. Can always buy more stuff. We got our Ramos crew painted. Amina is really cool. I need to finish her. Let's maybe finish that leather painted earlier. There we go. Mornfang Brown from Citadel. Let's mix it with a little bit of Ushabti Bone. Got cat hair in my nose. I'm painting the edges of this. I think it's leather. Like the harness. Maybe a little bit in the middle too. The thing with a cat is not always the easiest. Getting cat hair in your nose while you're painting. Life's rough. Worst thing is probably when it comes to the hobby, during the summer, you get an awful lot of cat hair on your wet palette. But I still love the little critter. I'm trying to pick out the lower edges in this like sculpted print, sculpted text. Amina is so cool in the game. So many auras. You got to be really annoying. Like if an opponent places a ski marker in line of sight, I think that's it. And you're like, I can now get a soulstone. It's not every game you get to play a workers' rights lawyer. Just brilliant. That's one of the things I love with the Arcanists. There, so we highlighted that leather harness. What do we paint next? Let's paint the jeans. There are no arcanists. There is only the Union, which is totally not a bunch of witches trying to post a guild. That is an opinion. That's an opinion. So I'm going to use some Reaper Templar Blue. Oh no. Dropper Bowls Clogged. And the darker shade, which is Beyond Blue. Almost sounds like Beyond Blue. Oh, scratchy. It's a little warm in here. So I'm first going to highlight the jeans with this Beyond Blue. And then we're going to go to the Templar Blue. Really keen to see what's going to happen with the Arcanist in the Malifaux Burns book. What were the Ramos being imprisoned, Tony leading the Union, and Karis being Karis. Karis being Karis. I can just see Karis getting targeted ads about the Burning Man, being like, seems like a hot dude. Dangaroos. Dangaroos for days. Gotta decide what color to paint the shawl. Actually, haven't decided that. So, Templar Blue for a highlight color. Our next highlight color. Focusing on the raised areas of the creases. think maybe we want to try and get knees on them looking a little... Oh, hi, kitty cat. Don't know if she's showed up on camera, but she walked by, sniffing the miniature a little bit, being like, hey, what's that? Got a lot of creases here because of the leg bending. I was thinking I kind of want to keep the dungaroos looking somewhat dark. Anyone who shows up to a tournament wearing dungaroos, playing Gremlins, deserves bonus points. It's just should be in gaining grounds. Gonna mix the Templar blue and the Brion blue to work those two color lays together a little bit. Pushing that into the Templar blue areas. But we want the folded parts of the trousers to be lighter. So I'm gonna just paint those over with Templar blue completely and then highlight that from there. Right, almost forgot that this is part of them. At least I think so. So do you focus on the role-playing game, Futura Maniac? Maybe want to separate this fabric here from the skin a little bit. Doing that with some black paint. Not many people play Malif around me, so I got into the through the bridge. Okay, cool. Yeah, that can be an issue. At least we got Vassal to help out with that a little bit, but I mean, you want to play with your minis. You want to play with your toys. I'm glad you found people to play the RPG with. Also, pandemic. Yes, pandemic. Very much the pandemic. So I live in Sweden, and it's opening up again tomorrow. Obviously, people are encouraged to continue being careful, so I hope that goes well. I'm not going to stare into talking about politics here or anything, but yeah. Personally, gonna keep being careful. But there are some tournaments coming up this fall in Sweden, or some. I say some, I mean 2. And also got a ticket to the UK Nationals. Okay, so let's go to Ashen Blue. Like Futura Maniac, I live in Czechoslovakia and elections are coming, so no one will now put us under any rules, meaning we're about to suffer some more. Oh. I'm sorry to hear that. Sounds rough. I hope you don't get to suffer much, if anything. That was maybe phrased weirdly. Sorry about that. Phrasing is hard, isn't it? Ashen blue mixed with Templar blue. Ashen blue just makes me think of Dark Souls. I know I've said this in the past. Ashen 1. Did I mention I like Dark Souls? Really like Dark Souls. Oops. Kind of missed the camera there. Gotta stay in camera. Can be surprisingly hard painting in the same spot. Tell me about it. Yeah. Trying to hit the like upper parts of the creases. this Templar blue, ashen blue mix. And we want to kind of want the knees to be extra light. Probably want to mix a little bit of bone color in there. To make them look worn out there. So mixing some bone into the ashen blue. Chris, I returned. What have I missed? What have you missed? We've been talking a bit about favorite stories in Malifaux, and I've been rambling on about what I'm painting, what color and why. Mostly just that. Glad you're back. Been rambling a bit about Sweden opening up a little bit again, or not just a little bit, it's just opening up again. So got a couple of tournaments to look forward to and a game day. Obviously, I'm still going to be careful. I'm really looking forward to it. Still need to paint a lot of Explorer minis though. I got a ton of Explorer minis to paint, which should be fun. But possibly a wee bit stressful. We'll see. We want these folded up parts to be lighter. Or that's what I want, at least. Hope everyone's having a good evening. I know I am. This miniature is really fun to paint. And I've wholeheartedly enjoyed painting the Bayou Starter box. It's just been so much fun. They're such characterful little miniatures. I think maybe I will, like, I'm highlighting these trousers. We're getting to the point where they're not as dark as maybe I wanted. So I'm going to think about whether I want to pull that back down again, or if I'm happy with how they're turning out. Doing some like staggered dotted highlights to suggest a bit of a rough texture. For this denim texture or something. This might not show up super well on camera. Keep getting my hair in my mouth. Oh, and if you feel like you missed some part of the paint job, you can, of course, always go to Wyrd's YouTube channel where all the videos are stored. So if you want to see how I painted something, there's a whole lot of videos on there. Can also be nice if you miss a stream that you really didn't want to miss. We want this Gremlin's little jeans to look really worn. Gotcha, left when you were working on the jugs. Okay. You left when I was working on the jugs. Yeah, we painted the blanket after that, and then the jeans, I guess. We did a little bit on the leather too, like the leather harness. We painted that too. What color should we paint the scarf? Do we want to do it like maybe burgundy? Could be cool. We'll think about it for a little while. And I think we'll paint some more on the hat. I'm grabbing some Corvus Black, which is a very dark gray, I would say, even though it's called black. So a light black, if that's a thing, or a very dark gray. So Corvus obviously comes from the whole crow raven species thingy. But in Swedish, korv means sausage. So it just sounds pretty stupid to me. But kind of cute. Sausage black, yeah? That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Also gonna add some orange into the ears to suggest blood flow, which is something they're very good at with gremlin art in general. Which also means that gremlins have red blood, probably. So yeah, we shaded the hat with that sausage black. Not really, it's called Corvus black, but yeah. And then I guess we could do a layer of, like, first we painted the hat Dark Reaper. So we could do a layer of Dark Reaper mixed with a little bit of Corvus black to tie them together a bit. Could just mix the Dark Reaper with black too. You don't need Corvus black really. Sausage black is not mandatory. Not a mandatory color. And then I'll mix Dark Reaper with a little bit of Fenrisian Gray. These are all Citadel colors. Use that to highlight the hat. I'm gonna draw my brush along the brim of the hat, the edge. Oh, and right at the beginning of the stream where we didn't really have many listening at all or watching, I was rambling a little bit about how you can use your cell phone to help out with checking your values and your like light to dark contrast, so you don't forget to think about that, because it's easy to just think of the color contrast, but we have a light to dark contrast too. And to help with that, we can photograph our model, and in the image editing software that's usually on every smartphone nowadays, like it's usually the gallery app has ways to do this. You can turn off you can turn the saturation down to 0, and then you'll see what it looks like in black and white, which really helps you see the values better, like the brightness and the darkness, shadows. Oh, we got a little bit of dark paint on the ear there. That's not good. Because good contrast when it comes to light and dark in a paint job helps create interest and draw the viewer in. And it can be a very useful tool if you want to draw the attention to something. You can make sure to have like a very bright area next to a very, very dark area. Like this black hat, which is currently looking a bit dark gray, but we're gonna steer it towards black. In contrast with a quite bright skin, helps create some visual interest. Got some pure black here. Trying to make this hat look like it's seen some wear and tear. This episode had a name. This little stream had a name. It would either be Sausage Black or Paint Those Jugs. Probably. Sorry for being horrible. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. Here in Czechoslovakia, we actually have black sausages. Oh, you do? I mean, some of the like British rashers or whatever they call are pretty close to black too, aren't they? Black sausage kind of sounds a little scary though. A lot of innards inside. Innards, yeah. We kind of tend to want them inside. It's very bad when innards aren't inside. Wouldn't you say? So we got this little, like that middle part of the hat. Don't know what to paint that. What color? Maybe paint it blue? Might be too boring. Do we paint it purple maybe? Yeah, I like it purple. Gotta be more careful not to hit the ears. Because I did that again. I always end up talking about food somehow. Maybe we want to... Like I made a very rough look for the hat. Do we like that? I think so, right? Like it's very worn. That's what I'm trying to get across at least. Brim's all necked and stuff. And let's highlight this purple hat band thingy decoration. Mixing a little bit of white into it. Purple was Xerius Purple with an X from Citadel again. It's a pretty cold purple. Or nah, maybe more moderate. pinning in the eyes with a very light pink, leaving some of the darker pink towards the edges. Oops. Wet palette's starting to get a little dry. Need the wet palette to be wet. So some pure white now. Try and get this interesting effect on the eyes. Not entirely sure what I'm doing, but let's pretend. Like that. The last word spoken in the chat is innards. It's very reser. A little shine there at the top. And maybe a little bit of darker pink near that shine at the top. Even mixing a little bit of black into that screamer pink to have some extra dark color there. Oh, it almost looks cute now. Almost as if it didn't have huge, scary metal scythes protruding from its legs. Almost. Is that rope is kind of the mantra I've been having. Always keep missing rope. But it's good that they don't know what happened there. Are we back? Yeah, I think so. Small blip, apparently. Yeah. Well, no worries. Yeah, so what color do we paint that shawl? Let's paint it burgundy. Sorry, got Barrack Nar Burgundy. And we'll paint the shawl with that. Sorry for staying there, I was just checking for latency. Yeah, I think burgundy works well here. Also ties it together a little bit with Stumpy, where we painted some fabric in burgundy. Mixing a little bit of bone into the burgundy to highlight it. Base coat isn't really dry yet, but we don't care. Let's call it wet blending. And let's do another highlight with some more bone. I think that looks pretty good. Missed a little bit of shawl here, which is actually showing. Maybe under the gun strap too, actually. Right, let's paint the gun strap. I'll paint that the same. Wait, is that? Oh no, right. It's the strap is actually made up of fabric, like twisted together, I think. I'm painting that burgundy too. Because why not? We want it to be, I want it to be colorful, but not to like take over. Although I guess maybe it's weird that it's burgundy too, because it's right next to the shawl. I think I'm getting tired. Yeah, it's maybe not the best. We could just do it much brighter. Or a little bit more pink. Let's do it a little bit more pink. To separate it a little bit from the burgundy at least. These Bayou Bash gremlins, they have a lot of different details on them. There's so much to look at, but also so much to paint. So we're not going to be able to finish this one this evening. Lots of different areas that all need attention. Pink would be cute. Yeah, thanks, Chris. I think pink works here. Ties it together with a fluffy bunny. I think it works. So did your paint job go well, Chris? Making good progress? It's highlighted by mixing a little bit of white into the pink. Again, this pink is Emperor's Children. Everyone knows the children of the Emperor are pink. Used to be the old pink color that was this color from Games Workshop was called tentacle pink, I think. I know another brand has it by Squid Pink. Nope, started another crafting project. I can't work on one thing too long, Chris. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. What are you crafting, if you want to say? See, pink is actually a pretty good complementary color to green. Sewing a dice bag. That's nice. That's lovely. I've got a few dice bags that a dear friend of me made for me, and I love them. It's great that you make your own. What color? Any pattern? So this fluffernutter guy has one sandal, and that is nice. It's very good for that 1 foot. So the details of the sandal is a little difficult to make out. I'm just going to paint it the way I think it should be. Black and many shades of purple. Nice. Sounds good. I think, I mean, like, we're not finishing this model today, but we made some pretty good progress on the project. Kind of looked like a kid's drawing first, but we're really getting there, I think. Yeah, so we didn't finish it, but we got pretty far. And Tuesday next week, we will finish this fluffernutter guy. Thanks, Kim, for providing those links to my social media stuff. And thanks, you guys who have hung out with me tonight or today, depending on where you are. It's been very fun, and hope you enjoyed it too. We've got Ashenhold art, I think, coming up next, right, Kim? Sorry, Haunted Miniatures coming up next. That's me getting confused. We got Haunted Miniatures coming up in 1.5 hours. So if you want to see more miniature painting, then we got Haunted Miniatures here in this stream in 1.5 hours. See you guys next time. It's been grand. Have a good day. Bye.